Welcome. Welcome. We're going to do a beautiful little video. We're going to do more on the spiritual maintenance and sustenance, how we're maintaining and developing our multidimensional bodies, understanding multidimensional bodies. I know there's a lot of people that are still new to it. I suggest that the process of awakening and enlightenment can really create so much reminder, remembrances and attunements, activations, alignments, harmonizations, healings. The process of awakening touches on the multidimensional allness of who you are. It touches on every aspect of creation. So I would suggest that, when you're first awakening, it can be so overwhelming. So that's why I've always been a proponent of journaling. Get journals and have them specific for each thing, your Gaia work and nature and animals. And then you can have your other journal for your intuitive stuff with spirit and the things that you're doing intuitively, how you're moving along intuitively, how you're developing intuitively, how you're growing, and knowing of yourself as stretching back and forth as the inhale and exhale of the mother and the father. The mother births life and the father protects life. And as the will of the father of the plan of all life that is expanding throughout all creation. And so it's a working together. The divine mother and the divine father work together. Without the divine mother, the birthing of life couldn't occur. And without the father's will and the father's plan of always knowing what every child is going through and the mother's nourishment of every child, it's a constant movement of back and forth of symbiosis. And that's why we have been in such great imbalance, because the planet has not seen, nor recognized, nor acknowledged, nor given receipt to most of its collective. We haven't given receipt and honor to the collective of nature, to the collective of the trees, and how much work the trees do for us, for our health and our wellness. The animals that provide different symbolisms and different stories for us, and different ways that we can allow our compassion and our reach, our vibrational reach, is found within nature, and it's found within all animals, whether they're, the insect collective, the fairy and the gnome collective, whether it's the cetaceans. All of these animals hold a very profound energetic resonance and an imprint to us. They carry stories vibrationally. And so it's really important that we understand that all energy is now. There is no past or future. Energy is just now. And if you're working with what we offer as far as ascension path work, you're able to allow the culmination and the churning of who you have been as a soul. We want to allow everybody to feel really excited about becoming a soul-infused being, which means that all of your soul fragments are being harmonized in this now moment, so that you're not stuck in a pattern of one particular soul perspective. And that's what is known in the awakening collective as karmics, because karmics rotate on that same personality perspective, and that's where they get very sick. They can move into psychosis if they're not doing the healing and if they're not facing the triggers. Because as we're moving around in the new ascension cycles, the light becomes more purified and more rarefied. And so that means anything that is not in symbiosis with that omnipresent light, if it's not in symbiosis of the oscillation bare minimum, then it will be seen. And this is why we said yesterday, or whatever our last video was, we said that you can't hide anything. Nothing can be hidden. So those that choose to work in secret and darkness and all of those things, and pretending that they're scheming and scamming and wanting to not be seen and wanting to not be noticed, that's all going to be moot, because the oscillating energies and the refinements of light are just going to show everything that is not in alignment of that light. And that's just basic quantum experience. And so we have to allow ourselves to understand that everything is vibrational. From our 13 dimensions, everything is vibrational. Everything in our universe is vibrational. 13 dimensions, and they're defined and they're categorized through vibration. So what is dimension? What does dimension actually mean? Dimension is vibration. What is the resonance of that vibration, and what's the information held in it? The lower the vibration, the lower the information. So 3D is the lowest vibration. It's been held in very incorrect and misguided beliefs. It's served us, but now we're at a point where, if you so choose, those that are on my channel are those that have been instructed and directed or inquired or curious or motivated or inspired or enhanced or empowered to seek the eternal life, which means that there is more. There's always more. There's always higher order. There's always higher knowledge. There's always higher wisdoms and intelligences. And the only intelligence that is up from here is always light. Light is the highest intelligence. And we all have access to light. We all have access to light. We have access to light that we were born with, and it's called the God seed cell. And everybody has a God seed cell, and it's up to each person to work with it. And so honoring all that is who you are as a divine being of light, honoring all that you are as a divine aspect of the Divine Mother and the Divine Father, you're going to recognize that anything that comes before you is a harmonization of your divine feminine energies or your divine masculine energies. And these have been written about for many, many years, since the 50s, I suppose. And many of the books, from Buddha has written a lot of books. And it's all about the enlightenment process. It's about the self-actualization process. So again, it would serve you, anybody that is coming on my channel, and those that I would suggest, I'm hoping that I'm going to get more and more refined clients and people that are on my YouTube channel. I'm intending that these clients and these subscribers become more refined, that they're actually going to go off after they listen to the videos and they do their notes and they do their path work, that they actually go off and they do homework. So look up various things about self-actualization. What does that mean? And then sit in meditation and then start journaling and start writing and start connecting with your guides. There's a lot of questions and there's a lot of queries out there because people are asking, how does she know what she knows? And how does she know predictions? And how is she calling judgment on the cult groups and everything that I do watching my platform? I read energy, and I've said it from day one. I am a conduit. I read the conduit field. I read the omnipresent field. And if there is energy in the field that is standing out to me, I read it. So as I said, if there is an energy in the pocket of omnipresent, and we're moving into 5D, but there's so many rotating 3D experiences, those 3D experiences will just show themselves. I don't have to do anything. I've called them out because they're illegal and they're criminal. And it affected me. They were stealing from me personally. And I saw others that they were hurting. They were harming other people. I think there was 8 other people before me that had been involved with certain crimes and schemes and scams, and they didn't make it. So there's a lot of bodies behind these people that have claimed to be righteous, and they claim to be professional, and they claim to be white-collar criminals, but they've taken out a lot of people due to their misguided and wrong beliefs of arrogance and ignorance. One would have to understand the very basics of the very basics of science, the very basics of science. You're never, ever going to be blessed by taking people out, ever. It's such a barbaric notion and belief. Why would anybody think that that would be something that you would get blessed in, and that you would be touted, and you would be celebrated, and you would be honored, and where is the mentality in that? Life is sacred. So my role here is to activate as many as possible into a higher truth. I'm not AI. I'm a divine sacred human with a lot of celestial star DNA. And the US government and the Canadian government know about my life history. They were very involved in the birthing of my life, both of them. And from the point that I was born, everything has been misguided and misinformation about who I am. I'm an ultra human. I was combined with celestial DNA, as well as the soul DNA of who I am is the twin ray of Jesus. And I've always known that. However, the collective is still operating in very low vibrational, very separative, very discriminatory energy, because they're still sitting in church and state. And that's what church and state has monumented. Church and state has monumented separatism. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many religions on our planet. Why can we not just be one? Why can everybody just take their time and everybody believe in whatever they want to believe in, but stay out of everybody's lane? But that hasn't been the way it is. It's been so separatism. It's been so much control and so much domination and so much dogmatism that people are now attacking those that come forward and actually choose to live in higher light, and they choose to live in a higher truth outside of church and state. Why can't I? Who says I can't? Just because I seem to know things? Some of the comments that have been brought up, and there's far more. We want her gone. She's bad for business. We want her gone. She knows too much. She's in the way of what we want to do. Who is it that she is to come and challenge church and state? While church and state are doing horrible, corrupt, illegal things to keep someone like myself, a divine healer, from receiving justice. So why is it that the criminals get their run of the land and they get to create as much crime as they want, They get to steal. They get to live large off many people. They get to harvest off children. They get to cloak off children. They get to lure and start grooming children at the very earliest of ages for trafficking, and then sell them to the black web for back and forth cult activity to see which child has more gifts and which child has more light and which child has this and which child. These things actually occur. And it is so very, hello Italy, there is so very, it's misguided and wrong information. Anybody that thinks that, again, it's low vibration. I'm not going to spend any more time. Go back to my videos. There's a plethora of videos. I think it's called You Are Supported in my Ascension playlist. I think it's my Ascension Collective playlist or something. There's a video called You Are Supported, and that was the very first video where Source gave me the download called Mind Scraping. And that's when I was first introduced to what they were doing in an organized fashion of these cults and covens that were being used. Not all cults and covens are like this. I'm giving you what the Source has given me. As Source says something, I say something. I am the messenger, I am the Messiah. Source had said these cults and covens were using tactics and experiences that they had called, Source had called, the celestial heavenly bodies have been calling mind scraping, which is similar to the MK Ultra programs of deconstruction of the spirit and the soul and the self, the physical matter. Every single one of us come as carbon and crystalline. We are physical beings. We have DNA that is both divine and it's sacred and it's also physical, because we have to. We're in a physical reality. But we also have many aspects of us. It's not junk DNA. It's not the unseen. We are spiritual beings that is connected to all that is. And if you tune in and if you nourish that and if you honor that in a relationship and communion, then you become more honored in your soul infused self. And you can read more energy and you can be with more energy. Why? Because you're choosing to be it of yourself. It's always a quantum equation. But if you choose to believe that you're separate, if you choose to believe that there is no God, if you choose to believe that there is no spirit, if you choose to believe all of these little things that are in the lower world, 3D is a very low world. They're very separative, discriminatory beliefs. You'd think that our collective would have changed through the discrimination. Jesus was crucified due to the core belief of discrimination. He was given warnings not to teach and not to speak of his version of God and what he knew of the many heavens and what he knew of the many majesties of the heavens. It's the same things I teach. It's a multidimensional perspective of God, omnipresent. How could we not be multidimensional? How could we not be? It's exactly what your DNA is. But there are so many, for eons, people that have remained stagnant and staunch and bigoted and in their slow, low vibrational boxes of church and state, because that's how they were designed. They're living from a very low primordial reptilian brain. It has something to do with the DNA allocation that I sometimes talk about. I'm the only one that talks about the DNA allocation on this planet with regards to the hybrid species that are being reintroduced back into Christ consciousness. Not all species will be reintroduced to Christ consciousness. We also discussed that in one of our videos when the reptilians had been given infinite warnings. The reptilians were given infinite warnings to stop doing what they were doing and thinking that they owned me, and stop doing the black magic to control me, to dominate me, to try and get me to come over to them by doing however many sex rituals a day and orgy rituals and the things that they were doing. And they always ask, how do I know? How do I know these things that I talk about? Because I see it. I'm a seer, and I've said it many times. Go back and watch my videos. Stop wasting my time. So those people that really want to know how I see and how I know, go and watch my videos. Stop wasting my time with the same questions. Go watch my videos. I've explained these things about 500 times. I have 750 videos on my platform. Go do your research. But these people don't. They just want a protagonist. They want to attack. They want to poke. They want to throw you off. They want to see when you're going to be weak. That's what they do. They have little groups that study how you behave. They study your emotions. They study your psychology. They study, and then they go in and attack. That's called MK Ultra. It's called psychological abuse. And that's what they were doing to me for many, many years. The governments have known about me because they were part of the creation of me since I was born. And then I went off to a family, off to an island, off to an isolated island, and I was meant to see how I would survive, how I would come out with, being me, being an ultra human with less celestial DNA. Plus, I always have the royal DNA because the royal DNA is just part of my soul. That was part of the plan, and God was a part of that. God's a part of everything that goes on. But, humanity and all of its ego thinks that they're running the show. Humanity, you're not running the show. You've done a poor job. The leaders of humanity have done a very poor job. They have suppressed information that humanity needs, and they are seeing right now that their backs are pressed against the walls and they have no other choice. They have no other choice but to surrender into higher vibrational, intelligent discussions about light wisdom teachings for the entire planet. Because church and state will not see you through to ascension. Church and state has no idea. It's the blind leading the blind. They have no clue what multidimensionality is. They have no clue about their higher selves. They have no clue about how to read energy. They have no clue how to connect with Source Creator. They have no clue about anything. And it's okay if there's atheists out there that want to not believe in God. That's fine. Then don't believe in God. It doesn't mean that there is still no God. You still have a God seed cell. You still have chakras. You still have multidimensional fields. You still have a higher self. So believe in whatever you want to believe in. You still have chakras. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have chakras. That doesn't make you not godly. I'm just showing you how to work with your systems that are godly. It's a godly system. Your chakras are godly. Your chakras hold information from all realms, all dimensions, all universes, if you so choose. If you don't, then you're going to be shifted off to the lower realms, and you will stay in the lower realms because, again, as we said, this is the last 3D timeline. And there's maybe perhaps another 15 years of 3D, and we're moving more and more into 4 and 5D as we go. So every time somebody awakens on the planet, it awakens everybody else. It affects the all. One person awakening, one person's DNA affects the entire creational reality. And it allows you to think differently about how you manifest, because now you're understanding, wow, I have all these godly systems I was never taught before. I have vibrational fields that are 8 feet wide. I belong to universes that are like 13 dimensions. I have an aura. I have a Merkaba. I have chakras. I have fields that have information in them. And if you're not cleaning your fields, and if you're not maintaining and sustaining your fields, and if you're not understanding how to clean and cleanse and how to sweep up all the negative imprints, and especially if you're in communities that do, again, mind scraping or low vibrational cult and covens and Masonic energies, those are all very, very low vibrational, fear, control, dominated separation energies. That's their focus. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in a cult or coven. Their focus is low vibrational groupthink, and they're only as smart as the highest vibrational person in their group. That's it. That's as high as they go. And especially if they're doing black magic, sex magic, rituals to dominate other people, rituals to mind scrape other people, they're very systematic. Go watch my videos. Systematic abuse and how these cults and covens have been directed. Some of them have been directed by the governments, and the governments have obviously had military implementation because that's how they know. There was an agenda through my DNA creation. Project Stargate and a lot of other projects that are going on, and some of them aren't even known to humanity. Human testing and human experimenting is illegal. They don't have any right. If perhaps my parents did agree, whoever my parents are, because there's questions on that as well, I know who I was sent to. That's all I know. And there's misguidance and misinformation from before that, obviously, how I was incepted. I know how I was incepted because God gives me the DNA application. The DNA that they can't figure out is Arcturian. There's a big chunk of my DNA they can't figure out. So this is why they all come and stalk me. I have a little government dude that sits in the parking lot of the coffee shop from like, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night till 3 in the morning, and just sits there and just stalks and just watches, as if they're supposed to intimidate me. Your stalking doesn't intimidate me. It's illegal. You don't have any right to stalk me, governments. You don't have any right to stalk me. Just because I know more than you do, just because I can hear what you say in the rooms. There were 2 men in the rooms when this was said. I want her gone. She's bad for business. There were 2 men in the room, and it was an office. How did I hear that? Because I'm a conduit. I'm clairaudient. I can hear things that God wants me to hear, and I'll call you out. I will call you out. That's my job. I am Anubis. I walk with Anubis. I am many deities. I am many energies. I am as Jesus was, and Jesus was crucified because of discrimination, because they didn't want his speech of God and his speech of multidimensionality, his speech of truth, his speech of peace, his speech of everybody being godly. That was Jesus's message. Don't follow me. You are me. That was his message. Did anybody take that away? No, the message that they have is him sitting on a cross, and every time you go into every church, that's what you're supposed to feel, is redemption for his death. Okay, how about you get beyond that and how about you actually start living in unity and peace and start being a commandmentship of your own body and vessel? Because you are godly, you do have godly energy, you do have a spirit, and you do have a soul. And if your soul triggers, then that means there's an aspect of your soul healing that needs to be brought in and needs to be integrated. And every human on this planet has to do their integration. That's what we call the 51% of your own karma. You have to do 51% of your soul's fragments. Your soul has been fragmented because of your wounding, because of the energies, because of your experiences, because you're a vast soul. And as you go around and around on the universal cycle, top down, you have many fragments that are out of place. And they're going to keep turning around and around. That's what we call karmic, because they're all behaving from that same pattern. They're all behaving from the same wounding of betrayal or abandonment or jealousy or envy or I'm not enough. I give my power away and I'm a narcissist and I never take accountability. And no matter how many crimes I create, I'm going to always blame it and dump it on somebody else. Even if they're the nicest, sweetest people in the world, I'm going to dump it on them because I don't want to ever face who I am because it's just not, nothing is ever my fault because I haven't dealt with the childhood wound where it wasn't my fault and I didn't go and own it. So now everything in everybody's world I'm projecting, it's all everybody's fault but mine. So you got to go and heal your wound. Because that early sexual experience you took on to clear and cleanse and transform from your lineage. You chose to take that on as a lineage curse and a lineage hex to clear and cleanse your lineage because you were that powerful. But instead of healing, because nobody's taught how to heal, because again, the leaders are suppressing what needs to be held the most important in our reality right now is humanity healing. Humanity coming into oneness. You are divine sacred beings. Never give your power to anything outside of you, whether it's an influencer or a star or a radio host or a radio person or a singer, it doesn't matter. Never give your power away so that you feel less than or obligated or in leadership of and in fellowship of. Never be in fellowship of anybody. Be in fellowship of you. Because everybody's going through their own ascension and whatever they do behind the doors. And I'm calling some of those people out because it has affected me directly. And they chose for 3 years not to deal with it discreetly, not to deal with it maturely, not to deal with it in the way that Father, Mother said. This can be dealt with in a very quiet and quick, discreet way. But they didn't. They chose to be ego and arrogant, which is what they've always been for thousands of years. And we're just proving it. Everything that is unfolding right now is 150,000% proving every word that I have said on my channel. When you behave in low vibrational, karmic patterned, ego maniac, ego bigoted, ego misogynistic, ego oligarchic, when you have nothing but that type of energy and you do not sit in the presence of spirit and you do not honor the essence of spirit, the inhale and the exhale, and you become humble with spirit. And you allow all that you are to be surrendered to spirit so that you can be broken from the ego and you can keep breaking your ego and you keep breaking your ego and call it humiliation rituals, call it whatever you want. But there's nobody that initiates you on this planet. It should only be Mother, Father, God, and your teams. And they will send tests for you, soul tests. Those soul tests are to help you heal the fragments so that you can become a soul-infused being, so that it doesn't matter who's before you and what they say and how they target you and how they attack you. You're going to stand firmly in who you are, as thy name is. Sit down, Satan, because you do not hold rank over me. And you can throw 1,050 million rituals and hexes and curses at me, and you can go dance on the graves and dance under the moon and conjure death at me. You will not touch my soul. I am spiraling so many hundreds of threads above you. You will not touch me. You will never touch me. And what is more sad is that you have wasted so many lives. You've wasted millions. You've wasted the people's money. You've wasted the government's money. You've wasted time and judicial time. You've wasted policing time. You've wasted Gaia's time. You've wasted the collective time to have me out teaching the entire collective. Everything has been wasted because certain people want to play egomaniac and they want to see me fall and break. And I ask you a few questions that will determine your fate. It will determine your intelligence and it will determine who you are, because that's what my job is. My job is to have you face your truth. And if worst case scenario was to be taken, what does that say about you? That all your satanic attacks and all your systematic abuses, I think we're up to about 2,000 rituals on my life now, 200 plus selling of my name to the black web, underground, selling my name back and forth to little cults and covens, and what cult owes what cult, and what coven owns who coven, and who's going to get my skills today, and who's going to get my powers if they sacrifice me, who's going to get my powers if they do that death ritual. Meanwhile, they're rushing off to the insurance office to make sure they got new insurances. I haven't signed anything except for my divorce, so anything that has my name in it is absolutely 100% false. Meanwhile, they go and perjure on their divorce documents to Revenue Canada. How do I know all this? Because I pay attention. I'm a conduit. Nothing gets by me. They think they fooled me years ago. I've been calling this out for 6 years. I have emails to prove it with dates on it. I have emails for the past 15 years. Every email I have sent, I have dates on them, and they're protected. You won't get to them. Even if you think you're hacking it, you're not going to get to them. Because I know you're hacking. I know you got inside my phone. I know you got inside everywhere. You're not smart and you're not hidden. You're very low vibrational, dark people that want to see if you can outrank God and outsmart God. And now you're in a place where all the people that have been 50 to 125 now, that are trying to make me sit down because they don't want to give back the money, they don't want to tell me who I am, and they don't want to have accountability for the wrongs that they have done, which is egregious, human rights offenses on every level and over 17 federal crimes. They will be charged for because there is a trackable evidence on what has been done. The Father and the Mother and all of creation will not move forward unless I am brought balance. And I've asked for 4 very simple things, and everybody will be affected until this is made right. My birthright information will be provided to me, and I will be given dual citizenship so that I can travel and be wherever I want. Because if I was the one that was told wrong information about who I am in the birth country and my birth information, they're going to make it right. And it will come with an apology letter from both governments, because you never had a right to do what you did and hire who you hired and had me be where you had me be and have people set up in front of my life so that every moment was a fucking sabotage, an obstacle that I had to overcome and show all of you how to live life in higher vibrational. But you didn't even learn from that. That's what's so egregious. And this is where the Celestials and the ETs have come by since the Eisenhower days. And that's part of my soul as well. That's part of my Arcturian DNA. Because we had these contracts back in Eisenhower. And then you say, well, how does she know that? Because it's my soul. I've healed that soul. Now it's my soul information. I know exactly what went on that day. I heard Eisenhower in the other room and you were breaching the contract. I know exactly what happens. Nothing's hidden. You think you're all secret. You're not secret. You're just ignorant. You had a contract from the highest vibrational beings and you all blew it. You all blew it. These beings are the most unconditional divine beings in the multiverse. They don't have to sit and protect our planet. They don't have to protect our planet from reptilians that want to come in and absolutely rip our planet apart because they want all of our gold and our oil. The Galactic Federations protect our planet, dear lighted ones. And they sit and they hover over every city. You're so ignorant. Humanity has been so ignorant because of the ignorant leaders. And it makes me sick because these are my family. They're the only people and the beings that have cared for me. And at a breath of an instant, they will pull me up and nobody will touch my body. And you don't get that either, do you? Because you're so stuck in your demons. Just your little demons eating your bodies inside and out because you gave your power away. You gave your power away to the little minions. You gave your power away to the Epstein agendas. You gave your power away to whatever governments and whoever the fuck was giving you the directions to go kill people and go sacrifice people and go scheme people and scam people out of their inheritances. The number of people that have been scammed out of their money by these cults and covens that do this, not all cults and covens do this, but some do. The ones that were attacking me over and over and over again, they had taken so much money from other people and they had taken everything to do with my money. Over $2 million to attack me. So if you think, and they've called me crazy and they had the POAs and they had the death certificates, I'm not dead. How could all my divorce documents go through? How could legal law firms know that I owe them money in all of these legal cases that I'm fighting? How is that even possible if I'm dead? How is it possible that Revenue Canada gets my tax receipts? How is it possible that Revenue Canada speaks with me? How is it possible that I still talk to my children? How is it possible that I'm still teaching every day? There's nobody that gives the information that I do. I am the only Joanna. I am the only Celeste. I am. Come at me and see what happens. And the legions will be breathing down your necks. Because it's ignorance in why you even would. Continue to do your spell work, continue to do your black magic, continue to do all that you do that is such ignorance. Because all it is doing is digging your grave. You've been told 1 billion times you will never get anywhere except early karma. So sit in your karma. And you will have nobody to blame but yourself because you chose not to do the right thing discreetly, maturely, when it could have been done years and years and years and years and years ago. Human testing is illegal on every level. Every level. And I'm actually being shown right now, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Holy Spirit, thank you, Holy Spirit, thank you, Holy Spirit. There's even pharmaceutical companies that have made up their documents. When they go and have people test on their drugs, even those contracts are illegal. And if you bring those contracts to me, I can show you exactly where it's illegal. So don't ever sign up for a big pharma test. Don't ever sign up for them. You're giving your body away. You're giving your power away to say that that drug may or may not heal you. And there's nothing more powerful than your higher self and God, as we talked about in our last video. Never give your power away. Don't give your power away to entertainers. Don't give your power away to singers. Don't give your power away to politicians. Don't give your power away to church people that say they're more important than you. They're not. Meanwhile, behind the door, they're touching on children. They're cloaking and they're using their subscribers. They're using their patrons. They're using their financial information illegally. They're illegally being hacked and stalked and spied on. And the governments have given such cults and covens, some of them they have been given permissions to do so and be so, and egregiously go forward with systematic abuse and sabotage. That's what was done to me. Everything that could be sabotaged in my life has been. Everything has been ripped out from underneath me by groups and gangs of illegal, absolute criminals that refuse to be accountable. And I'm going to go a step further and I'm going to predict it now. Interpol, you know you're listening. Write this down. There has been government agendas, and you know there has been, and I'm going to keep calling you out because you chose not to do right when you could have done right, when you're the only people in the world that can do right and you chose not to. And you're getting paid the top percentage of incomes across all of these North American countries. I'm going to call it, I'm calling you out now. You want to get rid of me because I know too much? Let's talk. Get out your pens and papers. There are agendas right now that are directed specifically towards specific people that have vulnerability in the mental areas, and they test them first. Those are the ones, and you'll find a great percentage of them in the MK Ultra programs and the cults and covens, because they know that those that go towards cults and covens are not sure about who they are. And that is an underlying theme. And therefore, thus then, dear lighted ones, if this goes into the criminal courts and the highest court of law, and if I was a judge sitting on that bench, that's culpability right there. You knew what you were doing when you started the program, and you knew what you were doing when you drew up those documents in the program, just like the big pharma. And you know what you're doing when you're handing them the test pill and you're handing them the dummy pill. And you know what you're doing when you're sending out those people to say, this is how we do systematic abuse. This is how we do root work. This is how we do mirror work. This is how we do blood work. This is how we do rituals on graves. This is how we do graveyard sand work. This is how we do mirror work. This is how we do voodoo work. And you're actually paying people, to incite danger and harm and negative satanic black magic. And these people, because they may be a little bit mentally vulnerable, because they know it, that is culpability right there. You're inciting danger. You're inciting negligence. You're inciting infection and harm to kill, premeditated murder. And in the highest courts of law, I'll have you all sitting down. That's culpability right there. And you all know it. And this is where you got yourselves backed against the wall, because you all know. And you all judged me, and you all thought that I was going to be an easy target, and you all thought I was going to be so dumb, and you all thought I didn't know anything. I have an IQ higher than all of you put together. And you know why? Because you can't test me. Because I have intuitive intelligence, I have emotional intelligence, and I have the intelligence that just doesn't get rated on this planet, and I don't give a crap. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to be rated by your systems. I never did and never will. That's why I never fit in. That's why you can't. That's why it just drives you crazy to have me in your collective. Those that have been attacking me, it drives them crazy to have me still here. They wish that I had been gone a long time ago. But they don't make the rules. God does. God has my destiny. God wrote my destiny, and I'm not going nowhere until every child is liberated from trafficking. And every child understands who they are with their chakra systems and their Merkabas and their light and their celestial families and their connection to Gaia and their connection to why they're here. Because these children are here for profundity, and they will not be suppressed, and they will not be trafficked, and they will not be harvested. Because elite people that are wounded and demonic choose to use them and traffic them and sell them for their selfish, arrogant fucking gain. And I'm going to set each and every one of you down. If you refuse to alter course, I will sit each and every one of you down.
And it won't be me. It will be Anubis. It will be the legions. It will be your ancestors that are so sick and tired of playing babysitter on your bad choices. It's very simple, dear lighted ones, since the beginning of time. Do unto others has been the basic rule of this playground on this beautiful planet, and you have ruined it. Those that play in these ways. The Father gave the decree on Friday. Go read it. There will be no more time and there will be no more mercy for all of those that have been so egregious to hide millions and millions of dollars spent to take out one divine feminine healer that moves wormies to the ground and the grass. And they can send as many spies and stalkers as they want. They'll send as many spies and they'll sit outside the coffee shop all night long from till 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'll go out for my little walk at whatever hour I want to go, because I go for walks throughout the night and I talk to nature and I talk to the air, and the person in the car will just be sitting there. And I asked Source the other day, who's the person in the car that's been sitting there since, I don't know, about April? And Source says that's the ops, through the government. They're just watching now, see what you're doing. You know so much. You can't know more than they do. Why? Well, because that's how they control people, is by what you know. Okay, well, why can't everybody know things? Because you don't want people to know things. You want people to be numb and dumb, and you want to just move them like cattle and throw them off the cliff whenever you need them. But because they talk too much, because they're trying to instill a bit of higher order, because they're trying to instill, speak out for yourself, reclaim your power, reclaim your voice. You are a Christed being. I'm going to teach you how to work with your light. I'm going to teach you how to work with your chakras. I'm going to teach you how to work with your light. I'm going to teach you how to work with your guides. I'm going to teach you how to work with your higher self. And then you become godly. And you have that interfacing with God as I do, as I am. I am that I am. And I ain't going to be small for you. How about you level up? How about you stop being a criminal? How about you stop getting out of your ass and get your heels, your little wounds healed? How about you do that? Because we've been asking that for so very long. Since Jesus was crucified, my brother. Same discriminations, same judgments, same polygamy, same bigotry, same misogyny. Where are the divine feminine, your collective leaders? Where are they? You stalk them, you haunt them, you intimidate them. You pay people to go and sit beside them in their cars and pull their dicks out. What does that say about you? I'm calling you out. It's going to be a heavy day. There is no way on any planet, dear lighted ones, and you're waking up right now because the light and the crystalline energy is so pure and so refined. And you're going to wake up a different person tomorrow because that light is so refined. And you're going to say to yourself, boy, oh boy, how could we ever have thought that doing magic and sacrificing and voodoo and root work and mirror work, and we actually pay practitioners. There are people that pay practitioners to do things to people. And then there's mafia people paid, and then there's the gun wars and all of these things. So what happens if you just spent an ounce of that money and an ounce of that time and you actually went within and you actually healed yourself? What about that? What would happen then? What would happen then? Would you know who you are? Would you know what you exist within? And would you know what's going on within you when Spirit says that's enough? You're not going to go further in any reality. You'll never come back in a body. And is this really how you want to end things? Because Spirit shows you every day, dear lighted ones, by your connection with your body, whether it's goosebumply, whether you have dreams, whether you have synchronicities, whether you have masters like myself stepping before you. The planet will move into unity consciousness, and there is not one person, not one gang, not one affiliate, not one mafia. There is nobody on this planet that will stop the ascension. It has been ordained since Gaia was breathed. And there is a God, source creator, omnipresent. It is the breath that you breathe. It is within your cells. It is within your blood. And you have a divine sacred spark in the very center of your body, and it's called the God seed cell. And it will always stay there. And it will be there even when you die and pass on. Even if you're an atheist, that God seed cell is still there. And that's God's promise to you. That you will always be a part of creation. Because that's how much God loves you, unconditionally. And it is not a figure of a man that sits in the sky. Although it can be perceived by you in visions and dreams in that way, because that is your human mind. And that's okay. There's no judgment. Source creator is the essence of all information and all light and all creation of all life. And Source Creator loves you because Source Creator is a part of your body in every realm you belong on, in every body you belong in. So if Source Creator does not judge you for your experiences, why do you judge yourself and why do you judge others to be less than? Like the trans community or the gay community or the non-binary community. Why do they have less a voice than anybody else? Why cannot they experience themselves as who they are? They're different vibrating people than you. I'm a high functioning being. Why is it that I am attacked on every level? Why can't I not just be? Why can't I not live my human life, which is now 50 plus years in the making, and it's been manipulated like the Truman Show on every fucking level? I haven't had 1 minute where I've been left alone. I've been observed and tested and followed and obstructed and sabotaged and attacked and pilfered and harvested and bet on and bid on and traded and sold. You can't even count what has been done to me. And Spirit, Source Creator, the Father said, enough. That's it. And the Father has his thumb and her thumb on every single one of these people, and why they will never take an ounce and an inch step forward until I am made absolutely balanced in everything that has been done. And every single person that thinks that a ritual and a hex and a voodoo and stabbing a doll with pins in it, you think that you're going to gain anything? Are you serious? Is this the mentality of the planet? When you ask yourself, dear lighted ones, at the end of every day, the acts that I do, is it benefiting me, Spirit? If I'm doing a voodoo ritual on someone and I've just taken $150 to do a death ritual on them, I've just taken $150 because they're mad at their neighbor because they built a high fence. I'm going to do a ritual one day because they got more views on their last video and they got more views on their last music video than I did. I'm going to do a ritual on them because I want to feel more than they do. Well, how about you just go in and start giving yourself love and get out of people's lanes? How about you go and fix yourself first? Whether it's a sex magic, whether it's a sex spell, whether it's a love spell, whether it's a voodoo, whether you're hiring a practitioner, it doesn't matter what you're hiring them for. Can you give me a number, Spirit? 89%. 89% or higher. Hire practitioners to do things to other people. They don't hire them to do healing on themselves, and that is sad. I think that's sad as fuck. I'm going to say it, I'm calling everybody out. That's sad as fuck. So you would rather harm and interfere with other people's lives and have yourself in negative karma because it's coming back to you. You don't have any, if people believe that they do what they do and they're higher practitioners and they're going to be unseen because they're doing it on a private phone, they're doing it from an unlisted number, you are always seen and you are always known. And I see you on the line right now. There are 7 of you that should go away from this phone call today, and you should absolutely sit with your higher self and call your higher self in and say, how may I redeem what I have done? And you need to make right with your karma and your deeds. When you hire practitioners to interfere with other people's lives, you are absolutely trespassing on their spiritual akash and their spiritual birthright to be exactly who they are. And those people that do so in purposeful intention, elite harvesters, elite soul harvesters, elite governments that think that this is okay, it's not. It's absolutely 100% illegal and it's against universal laws. And everybody keeps asking, how does she know all these things? I told you in all my videos, you're not doing your research and you're not doing your homework. Because you don't care. You want the fast pill. The spiritual courts have spoken. And guess what, dear lighted ones? I told you this before and you didn't listen because you didn't care. All you were busy doing is judging me. And you were judging me thinking how dumb I was. And you were judging me thinking because I'm divine feminine. You were judging me thinking you're going to dominate me and you're going to break my soul. And you were going to have me in your little demon little thing. And you were going to put chains on me and I was going to die in your arms. I see everything. Why is it that I understand what's going on in the spiritual courts and you're already in a guilty verdict? Why is that? I told you once before, I told you many times, but you didn't believe me because you just like to throw your hate at me. Because how dare a divine feminine be smarter than most of you? Because I'm in the higher courts, dear lighted ones. I'm a soul-infused being. Remember we've talked about being soul-infused? It's why you integrate your soul fragments. You have many fragments that are not healed. When you heal your fragments, you become soul-infused. You then get the information of that soul. Go back to my videos and watch them. Make notes and start doing your practicing and do your healing. Get connected with spirit. If you're connected with spirit, you're connected with all that is, especially your soul's experience. I am a judicial being. One of my main primary themes is balance and the justice system of higher order, not earthly order, higher order. Because Earth is going through a transformation into higher dimensional practices. We need to be able to follow a higher order of law because there's 8 bajillion different belief systems on this planet, and most of them have taken people into very dark and dismal karma that has affected their health, that has affected their mental capabilities, that has affected their chakra systems, that's affected every lineage since their forth. The children have started taking on your karma because your deeds are so bad. These children don't deserve your karma. They had no choice in your black magic. They came on as strong souls to help you transmute it and to see how loving they are, but you refuse to even to acknowledge them. Most of you don't acknowledge the children that are in your homes. Most of you have no idea they're star seeds. And if you do, you're probably using them. Some of them that are on the line here. There are those of you that have been with me forever and you don't do that. You are my disciples. I'm not speaking to you because you are the teachers and you are the leaders and you're the one that's Source is going to get you out there being the leaders of today. These are for the ones that asked at the very beginning of this call, how do I know what I know? Why am I still alive? And why don't I look like how I have been attacked? And these are their answers. These are their questions. And this is why God is not going to redeem you. And this is why God will not have you even move a step forward and you will never eat at my table. Because all that you care about is how do I know what I know? All that you care about is why do I have 10 steps ahead of you? All you care about is why don't I look like the way that I've been attacked? That's all you care about? And that shows you right then and there, and Anubis stands right there with the scales. You're not getting through my gates. You haven't earned an ounce of one of your lessons and any of the towers that have hit you, any of you. You've had towers with your health. You've had towers with your homes. You've had towers with your finances and your businesses and your relationships. Isn't that enough for you? Or would you like more towers? Or would you like more things taken from you? At what point will you sit down and heal? When you ask questions like that, you will never, ever, 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 ever in a billion evers ever move forward, and you will never, ever in another billion evers, you will never be ranked. And there will be vibrational shifts to Epstein Earth because there is no way the bare minimum of this earth can be upheld because we are moving higher in light. And the light will just show naturally. It would just be a natural order. It'll be natural order. Nobody has to do magic. I don't have to psychically tune into anything. The light on the planet will be of that because that is the law. That's quantum law. I've been talking about it. I don't play lip service here, people. I never have. Go back to my very first video. I don't do lip service. I don't give a fuck. I've had 2,000 subscribers for the past 8 years. I don't give a fuck. I don't use my subscribers. I don't use them. I don't use their energy. I send my subscribers light. That's what I do. I send my subscribers light, and the ones that are my disciples, the ones that have donated to me, I spend special attention on those ones, and I bring special people in for those ones. And I make sure that Archangel Michael is specifically looking after those ones because they have looked after me. It's called humility of quantum equal. I bow to them. I bow to them. That's being godly. Because God will take you through these tests. God will say, can you lead my people? Can you feed them? Can you feed my people? Can you feed my children? Absolutely, Spirit. I absolutely will. It's not going to do much good if all my platforms are shadow banned. And YouTube's taking money from various sets of so-called elites that think they're better than everybody else and they want to seem better than everybody else when behind the doors all they're doing is magic and harvesting from people. All I've done is call out truth, and my life has gone into absolute financial ruin. All of my finances, it's going to take me 3 or 4 months to sort out because of the mess that has been done and the withholding of the finances and the lack of truth and the lack of accountability and the lack of, efficiency to get my things looked after. But if the tables were turned, and they are now, and they've been, they've been in karma for about a week? They're in karma for about a week and they're all running around scrambling like chickens with their heads cut off. And that's only a week of karma. This has been 54 years of my life, dear lighted ones, and you ask me how I know what I know. Because I see and I hear and I know and I trust Spirit. Because I am that harmonized. When I say I'm a conduit, I'm a conduit. I read the field. I see what's going on right now. I can see little dots and where people are in their little dots and what they're doing in their little dots. And if I so choose, I can tune into each one. But I don't want to. Because it's boring to me. Because you're all in the same energy of those people that I'm talking about, of church and state. As we said, we're at a precipice right now. Those that are vehemently remaining in church and state, you're going to be juggled so far and so hard and so fast that you're going to be forced to make decisions as you are right now. Those of them involved with the discrimination cases on my life. Since I was born, since I was created, since I was mapped. And God did the mapping. Let me make no mistake about that, dear lighted ones. You're not going to take credit for my DNA mapping. It's God. Humanity will not take credit for my mapping. The vessel that I sit in is constantly being enhanced because of the damages that have been done. from the very inception of my birth here. And then the fabrication and the lies on my birth records, and why and when I was placed before who was placed before me, and they were placed before me for certain reasons so that they could watch me and they could study me and they could test me until I'm 50 something, when the monies and the transfers and the closing of these contracts and experience were supposed to be done at 18. And at 18, when I was legally an adult by Canadian law, and right now it's usually 14, a 14-year-old can go into a criminal court and say, no, I am my own voice, I am my own person of my mind, body, heart, and soul. And I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna stand up for any 14-year-old that wants me to help them stand up for their human rights, and I'll fight it to the highest courts. I'll wrap circles around you. Corrupt people in the judicial system, corrupt people in the policing system, corrupt people in the governments. You don't hold rank. And how dare you use as many people as you have used and think that you're going to walk away scot-free, because you won't. You have required signatures to do anything on anybody, and that includes stalking and hacking into their devices, which you have no rights to do. You don't have any rights. I didn't apply to anything. I didn't give you permission to do any of that. I didn't give anybody permission to look at my medical records. I didn't give anybody permission to look at any record of my experience. Not my school education, not my personal information, not my medical records. Nobody has a fucking legal right to do it. They don't. I didn't give any signature. Power of attorneys are very specific processes. I worked for the Public Trustee's office in Vancouver. I worked for that office. I worked for the very office of the Public Trustee's Ombudsman. There's a specific process a family has to go to for any person to have a POA on them. It's medical, it's psychological. They have tests and they have little assessments they have to go through and quizzes they have to go through. It's a process. And it's a process so that the rights of the human being, mind, body, and spirit and soul are looked after in the highest of regard on a non-biased experience, which hasn't been done on mine. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. I've been calling this out for how long and nobody gives a fuck. Okay, so then what? Okay, so God's going to keep pressing you back the wall. God's going to keep pressing you. God's going to keep pressing you. God's going to keep pressing you. This could have been dealt with 3 years ago very discreetly and nobody would have ever heard another thing about it. But this goes to show you the arrogance and the ignorance of those in leadership and those that run cults and covens. This is the level of intelligence. There isn't any. It's dark. They want what they want. They want to be non-accountable. They've got what they've got out of me. They all made a lot of money off of me. And now everything's going to be stripped from them because that is what God said. God said, I will strip everything from you because you are not playing God. And everybody that's going through this experience, one by one, by one, by one, each of them are being stripped. And they will face their karma no matter what their choices have been. And they will have to see the pain in their children's eyes to the choices that they have made. And they didn't think an ounce about their children. And this is why you have cycles, dear lighted ones, that we talk about all the time. We have cycles so that you sit and learn. Everything that you do affects somebody else. So why not go in and heal those wounds as opposed to, again, before you reach out, go within. Wouldn't it make sense to heal yourself before you cause another trauma? Because why would you want your wounds to become another's? Heal your wounds so they don't become another's. Before you go out, reach within. Aren't these simple things that make sense? Would you not want that to be your legacy instead? No, I did whatever it took to heal myself, and I'm going to keep getting up. And if I have to stand in front of 1 billion people, and 1 billion people say, sit down, we don't understand your speech, and I'm going to keep getting up, because that's my job. That's who I am. I care. I care deeply about those that are being fooled. You are divine beings of sacred heavenly matter and spirit and essence of God. And you can call God whatever you want. Source, the sun, the moon, the energy, the breath, the movement of your skin when you breathe, the knowing that Mother, Father are with you in magical and mysterious moments, and the many heavens that you have access to, and the many legions, and the many angels, and the many celestials, and the many aliens, and the many light ships you see, and all those beautiful little circumstances that are only between you and spirit. Because you're manifesting that knowledge and that acknowledgement and that communion and that harmonization that, yes, there's more than just the physical body that you're becoming more and more detached with. That's why you're becoming more and more sick. Because your spirit is becoming more detached from the physicalness of all that you are. It doesn't have to be. You're the commandmentship of your experience. Why can you not put more and more spirit in your body? Why can you not harmonize it with every breath? You can. That's what I've been teaching. That's what I've been offering. It'd be nice to get donations for this high vibrational information that's only offered through me. It'd be nice to have some bookings and some real true collaborations that are here for 5D Earth and not just for your selfish experiences to say that you've got me on your coven team and who's going to do the next bidding. because that's never going to happen. I will never even step in an office of yours. I would never even pick up a phone call. You'll be blocked. You've already been told that. I'm not going to be your eyes to pan out more gold for you. I'm not going to be your eyes and your ears to see where the oil is. I'm never going to be hired for your selfish intentions. Go look at our protocol for dealing with higher dimensional, higher vibrational beings. I'm one of them. I do not bend, I do not bow. And when Satan steps before me, it will be, sit down thy Satan. It's class time. Because Satan even knows who works for whom. Make no doubt about that. And if you don't believe me, go have a discussion with God. Go have a discussion with your little cults and covens. And you ask your coven leader, and you ask the coven head of the coven head of the coven head, and you ask the highest of the practitioners on this planet. You ask them. You ask them who works for whom. Who works for whom, dear lighted ones? This garden is a new earth star. And this garden belongs to the people, and it belongs to Gaia, and it belongs to the spirit of oneness. And you will not move forward in any evolution at all unless you get the fact and the deeds and the choices and the beliefs and the perspectives. Everything you do affects another. If you do not care about your human collective, if you do not care about your neighbor, if you do not care about your body, you will not be moving forward. And there will be vibrational shifts that will seem as if nothing's happened at all. And everybody will be vibrationally where they're meant to be. And this is just quantum law. And this is just how miraculous Holy Mother, Father are. You see, Mother and Father within a breath can just move any soul because they are Mother and Father. And Mother and Father sit within the God seed cell within your soul. And your soul is the very center of your being. And even if you don't feel connected, and even if you think you're an atheist or a Jew, it doesn't matter what your beliefs are because they're very small. 3D beliefs are very small. It's a 3D perspective. You can choose to raise your consciousness and choose to expand your beliefs. And that's what we teach on this channel. And yet every day for the past 8 years, I have been deconstructed, destroyed, defamed, sabotaged, exploited. And these are my stories. I'm coming forward in absolute empowerment and 100% absolute heavenly knowing. There is nothing more profound than to walk with the heavens, dear lighted ones. Even if you have nothing and you are homeless, as I. Even if you have no money in your bank account, as I. Even if you have no friends and no posse that stand around you and no vehicle and no nothing, as I. And you walk with the heavens, and therefore thus then it is done equally. That is God's blessing and gift to you. And that is why there is a God. I shouldn't be here, and I am. 2,000 plus rituals on my life, and I am here. And I'm rebuilt every night with my teams and my celestials, and I am humble and I bow before all of them. And I thank God, I thank God, I thank God every day for them. I am who I am because of them. I am who I am because of the brain enhancements. I am that I am because of my DNA enhancements. I am that I am that they come and fix the things that have been done to me in this planet. Because they've been so arrogant, they want me on their side. They want to demoralize me and dehumanize me, and they want to demonize me. But you won't. You've already tried, and the answer will always be no. I won't work for you. I will never be your employee. So you can stop your stalking. Don't offer me a government job. I don't want it. I never asked for it. I never invited it. I don't want to be in your cults and covens. I would never be a part of your cults and covens. My jurisdiction is the heavens, dear lighted ones, the many heavens, the many universes. And I've said that from day one. It's not my problem. Nobody believes me. As you're seeing now, my predictions are coming forward, 100% true. And you ask how and why and how does she do that? I've been showing you for 17 years. It's a spiritual journey. I've been doing the work. I don't go out and party. I don't go out and have sex orgies. I don't go out and harvest off other people's energy. I sit and I give energy, and I move little wormies to safe place because I know the work that the wormies do on this planet. And most people step on them. There's very little respect for life on this planet of the insects, of the children, of the animals, and how animals are treated is a direct reflection of how you treat yourself. We need to allow ourselves a grand, profound awakening. Every aspect of life is divine and sacred. Right use of free will and non-interference is the highest spiritual law. And if you're not practicing it every day, and if you're not practicing it in all that you do, if you're not practicing it in the work that you do and the vocations that you offer, if you're not practicing it with the body that you have and the bodies of others, then you will have negative karma and it will come back to you. And there is nobody to blame but you. The information is there, the education is there, the wisdoms and the intelligences are there. Are you seeking it? And if you're not seeking it, you don't have anyone to blame. There is far more than church and state. They're held in very low subjugation, and that was their intention. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been and taken this long and have me fight my life and claw my way to survive and have my teams in the heavens put me back together 4 times. I had to be brought back to life 4 times because of the egregious acts of others, systematic, organized, deep pocket, resourced, elite harvesting that has been done on my soul. And not one person anywhere of any realm, of any dimension in any universe had a droplet of an ounce of a right to speak, to act, to pay, to take money, to sign, to defame, to exploit, to fraudulently sign, to doppelgang, to copy my content, to say that any part of my 3 books were a part of them, because they're not. My work is my work, and it's been 100% devoted by me. That's why God had me play hermit for so long, because nobody will claim who I am. I am a self-made person. I am the average, and I am the above average. Because my story is meant to inspire billions on this planet that have been treated so egregiously, as if we mean nothing, and discarded like we were yesterday's trash. And that's what they hoped. And that will never happen. It will never happen. You are divine beings, dear lighted ones. We come and we speak of the spirit that is all things, unseen and seen. And when you breathe deeply and you offer divine spirit to come within, be within my breath, divine spirit. I call in the mother and I call in the father, and I release any densities, I release any cords, and I release any attachments, imperfections, and impalements that people throw at me that I may be aware of and may not be aware of. Any projections and any evil eye, any negative thought forms that I have created on my own or not. Everything is my vibration, so I choose to change it now. And I breathe in the highest light. And in every breath, I breathe in light. I accept light into my breath. I accept light into my life. I accept light into my cells, into my pillar of light and my chakras. I give notice and recognition and acknowledgement of my chakras. My root chakra is pure love, and I feel it spinning. My sacral chakra is pure love, and I feel it spinning. My solar plexus is pure love, and I feel it spinning. My heart chakra is pure love, and I feel it spinning. My throat chakra is pure love, and I feel it spinning. My third eye is pure love, and I feel it spinning. My crown chakra is pure love, and I feel it spinning. My soul star chakra is pure love, and I feel it spinning. My earth star chakra is pure love, and I feel it spinning. And by the time you get to this one repetition of your chakras, your body should be filled with goosebumps. And that is the physical manifestation that you are connected with spirit, and spirit is connected with you. And we've offered this many times to ask and start working with your teams in these spiritual protocols and guidelines, so that you have specific working mechanisms with your teams. And you know that with your sound of your voice, you activate the light field around you. That's all it takes, because that is your consciousness working for you. I activate the light field around my Merkaba and my fields right now, Spirit, please, right now, right now. And this field is a protective bubble of light. And this field will assure that there will not be any rips or tears in my auras or my fields, or the mechanisms that keep me light and keep me wonderful and loving and kind. And just because others are walking around with much hate or confusion or upsetness in their hearts because they are disconnected from who they are, because they have not been educated or informed, and they choose not to seek it. And even if they do, the leaders might not let them find it, because we've been so well hidden, and we've been shadow banned by very big billion-dollar companies. And if you want to do something for your collective, you want to do something for your enlightenment, why don't you write a few emails to YouTube and give them my channel, and you give them the printouts of every screenshot that I have taken, and you have them investigated. That's how you become a positive, proactive person of your collective that wants better change, higher change. What are you doing and who are you? Your chakras have everything to do with who you are as a multidimensional Christed being. Your breath has everything to do with entangling your chakras and your systems with your physicality. That's why it's been called the breath of life. because it offers you new life. It offers you the eternalness of life. And what? Did we hear and did we say that breath is divine source creator? Eshe na makai te ke na maa e se te ke na nakata te eshe na kata te ka maa. Eshe na makata te ke se she na kata te ke maa e se she na maka e te she she maka a. Tai na maka e na ne e se na e te ke she na a. She makata e te ke she na kata e na a. She te ke ama e te she te ke e a. Pai ina kai e a. Tai maka e a na na e te ke she na a. Tai ka e. She amaka e te ke ama e a te ke she maka a. E te makata te a maka te ke she maka a. E maka a. I she na maka a. I'm so happy to be a star child. E she maka e te ke she a. E makata te ka ama a. And I've lived for very long suppressing myself in vibrational systems to be accepted and to be honored and to be seen as belonging and conformed to something I just don't want to be conformed to anymore. And I've said from day one, I don't want to be your conformed little check boxes. And if I'm costing you money because I'm calling out your corruptions of the most egregious kinds to the most innocent and sweet hearts that have come from so very far away to be a very beautiful light on this planet, then I will call it out. And I'm going to keep calling it out and you will not touch me. I am calling out the crimes that are being done by those in very elite offices and roles and positions. And you all know what you have done and why you do things in the dark and why you do things in your secret meetings and you think you're all secret and hidden. Nothing is ever hidden. There are celestials in every room that you walk in. Your higher self is a celestial. It's you, wanting to pull you back on a path that is not egregious and damaging to your soul because you will now have no other 3D timeline. This is it. If you do not make right here, you will not return to a 3D timeline, and you haven't earned the consciousness to move into 5D. So talk about it with your soul. You'll not waste my time anymore. The decree has been said, and the gavel hath fallen. What does that mean? What does the gavel hath fallen? It means the verdict has already been written. And why did you ask me earlier? How does she know what the verdict is already going to be? We're going to go to court and you'll be found guilty because the spiritual courts have already spoken. What happens in the spiritual realms happens in the physical realm. We've been warning everybody for 3 or 4 years. It was already taking place in the spiritual realm. But because you're in such low vibrational consciousness, because you're in such dark consciousness, because you're in your low vibrational groupthink consciousness, you don't think outside of your karmic pattern. What are you going to do next? Have somebody come in and try and have sex with me? What are you going to do next? Have somebody come and stalk me at the coffee shop? What are you going to do next? Have somebody come and try and do voodoo spells on me and throw mace at me? What are you going to do next? You've tried everything. And everything that you try, you will be stopped and you will be sabotaged because you don't have a right to play God on me. Perhaps you just stop being a criminal and perhaps you heal yourself. It's the same message. You will not touch my soul. It's been damaged enough by people that are ignorant, that don't get it, that don't want to heal. So step aside and let those that want to ascend, ascend. Because there will be no person on this planet that will hold any group back. If there is one person that wants to ascend, God will stop the planets. God will stop everything in creation and have that person ascend. That's how much God loves you. And if God said to me, thine daughter, I'd like to move you up and be of greater play within the collective because you hold so much passion and there's so much hope and there's so much promise and there's all of these informations you've been practicing for eons. Can I put you in the collective? Say, yes, Father. Yes, by all means. I'm ready. I'm ready. I was ready 8 years ago. I'm ready, Father. I'm ready, Father. I'm ready, Father. I'm a star child. You brought me here, Father. I'm ready to help. I'm ready to help. Did I ask about the monies? Did I ask about the fancy house I'm going to sit in? Did I ask about the fancy famous people that I'm going to be hobnosing with? Did I ask about the new shoes and the designer bags? Did I ask about all the superficial stuff? You know the first thing I said to God? My life has been put on hold for so long, Spirit, because I know you wanted to wait for as many people as possible to come along on this ride. Because so many people across so many dimensions and so many lineages and so many Akashic memories of these timelines that know me, and they have been with me in many, many timelines, but they've chosen to take a darker path this time. And they cannot come along with me, and they will not eat at my table. And their ancestors are very sad that they've chosen to take such a degradation and such an attacking route on what was only offered as pure light. And that's okay. There's learning that comes out of all of it. It's all unconditional. And I said to the Father, I have been put on hold for 8 years, and I have not created what I've wanted to create. And the people have not even felt even an ounce of me yet. Please get me out to the collective. There's much I can do. And then we just trust in the path that is Source, Creator, and God. God has kept track of every penny of everything that has gone back and forth, and Spirit has kept of every penny and track of that, the spells that have been made and spells that have been bought and sold, and little pieces of paper that go back and forth. Bets and gambling, pyramids and discussions, government agendas that didn't have an ounce of signature. I've never spoken to anybody about my body and my life being used in any way. There's never been a discussion, never a discussion. There's never been a discussion, ever. I've never signed anything on any level in any way. I would not. I'm a humanitarian. I'm an advocate for human rights. And so, dear lighted ones, we offer through my life path that we hope you feel empowered and excited, that it doesn't matter what you have gone through and what you have experienced, because as you awaken, the memories will start to come online. And it's meant to. You're meant to purge those memories and face it and integrate it. You will have the memories of your childhood that need to be healed and loved and brought back into the sacred child, the reunion of the sacred child to Source Creator. To know that you now play the mother and the father, and you can nourish the sacred child within with love and compassion and full radical acceptance. That radical acceptance that most of us did not have coming into this planet. We're here to reintegrate unconditional love. That is Source Creator. Source Creator, above all things, dear lighted ones, and I say with goosebumps all over my body, because I am Source. The highest level of vibration in this universe is unconditional love. And that you go through these journeys of expansiveness and learning and growing and falling down so many times. The children fall, but boy, do they have fun climbing back up that slide, don't they? And it's even more fun coming down. And then they'll try a swing, and then they'll try the merry-go-round, and then they'll try all these other things in the playground. And they're meant to. Don't ever feel bad about what you have tried. You're meant to explore what you're meant to explore for the soul that you are. We ask you not to get stuck there. Don't get stuck in the darker things. Don't get stuck in the abusive things, because it will only be you that is played. That is the way, that is quantum law. We just keep telling you that. You've got to come around to it on your own. Draw the infinity to every discussion and every aspect of life that you are, and you will see it. You will see creation playing out before you. And you can say, wow, I must be so advanced and awake. Well, yes, you are. We're teaching you. We're teaching you how to be godly, dear lighted ones. I don't want your credit. And that's how you know it's a good leader, because the leader doesn't want your credit. The leader doesn't go and sabotage you to get your credit. I don't go and copy your content and then get your credit. I don't want anything to do with your credit. I give it back to you. As Jesus said, don't follow me, you are me. Stand up. What is your speech? Who are you? Speak, dear lighted ones. Reclaim your power from any entertainer that you have given it to, because you thought they were so beautiful and so magnificent and so this and so that. Yes, they have talent, but don't give them your power. Reclaim your power and be profound in of yourself, in spirit, of spirit, as spirit, because you are. Because you are, because you are, because you are. Say that 100 times a day and see what happens to your reality. Because that's the spirit running through you. And when you know who you are, delighted ones, your name becomes something a little bit more vibrational. And you wouldn't want to be anybody else. And you know that in being you, guess what, delighted ones? You're awakened to all that soul-infused stories that becomes you. And then they say, how did you know that? How did you know that? How did you know we backstabbed you 100 times? How do you know we threw magic at you? How do we know we tried to get your kids against you? How do you know that we did egregious things behind your back? How do you know we tried to steal your stuff? How do you know we did steal your stuff? How do you know we're lying about it all the ways? How did you know all these things? Because when you're soul-infused, you see two things. You see truth and clarity and transparency, and then you see lies. And then if you're really good and you have a really good connection with Mother, Father, God, and they show you what's been done by a little moving picture in your mind, and it's in your third mind and you're shown a reel, and that reel contains pictures and images and things that people are doing behind closed doors where they think they're hiding and they're really not. Why? Because there's certain of us on this planet that must call out judicial systems that are corrupt as fuck. And the people running them, and the people inside them, not all of them, but some of them are. And those that are on the right side of justice are going to be asked to be brave and courageous and stand up. And what is your speech? Call out the corruption and make it right. That's your duty. Look up the word nobility, delighted ones, and we want you to stop being noble to your own self. Can you stand up and speak on the side of your spirit? Can you speak on the side of your body? You're a multidimensional being. What does that mean? You are physical, you are mental, you are emotional, you're psychological, you're sexual, and you are spiritual in all ways. So if you are this beautiful multidimensional being, do you have your multidimensional beings back? Well, you and you only speak for it. If your mental body is being abused, speak of it. If your emotional body is being abused, speak of it. If people are coming back and thinking they can harvest off of you and steal off you and pocket watch you and spy on you and stalk you, speak of it. Stand up, delighted ones. Nobody deserves your power and your virtues. Your virtues are your virtues. Reclaim it. This is being godly. It's been my message. These experiences allow you to feel precious and priceless. Nobody can put a price on what I've just said. Nobody can put a price on when you feel that. Your body is goosebumpy and you fall down and you begin crying because you've just had your first connection with God again. And you've remembered how profound it is to be with God. And when my team say, the Father has a mission, the Father has an asking, the Father would like you this, the Father would like that, I said, yes, Father, yes, Father, yes, Father. It's always yes, Father. I am married to you until the end of time. And there's going to be good times, and there's going to be bad times. There's going to be times where I'm going to transgress. So please be patient with me, but still love me anyways. And the Father says, I understand. I'm preparing you for things that have never been done before, but I trust in you, my daughter. For you are the sacred ray of joy and hope. And this planet needs joy and it needs hope. Can you be this? And I said, yes, Father. And I said, but what about what happened to my brother? What about happened to Jesus? Because I felt it and I saw it everywhere and I cried so many times. I can't count the times I've cried for his crucifixion because I felt every ounce of it. Because twin rays, they feel every ounce of everything. And the Father said, it's not going to happen this time. It's not going to happen. The Father said, you know how many times people have come for you and you haven't even noticed. And you're reading a book and you're singing to the birds and you're singing to the bees and you're dancing like the little fairy that you are out in the grass with your bare feet and your little dress. I said, no, Father, but I do love the birds. And they come and fly around me so close, and we play and we sing. And I notice the insects, and I notice the children when they're happy. And I notice the forest when they come alive when I walk in them. And I notice then life comes alive when I talk to the human collective about water and the precious cetaceans and the precious animals that need our help and our love. Because life just comes together once again. And it feels like we're home. It feels like our home is reminding us that this is what it's all about. It's not about targeting and stalking someone because they're a little bit more star DNA than you. Or because they seem to understand things because they've had about 500 more lifetimes than you. And God places us in those positions. It's not nobody's business. So stay out of it. My DNA should have no bearing on anybody else. Stay out of my business. Stay out of my DNA. You don't have any legal right. Then the mad scientists that don't care what I say, because there are those that have been in a medical position and they shouldn't be. And they will be charged in criminal law. They don't care what I've just said, and they're going to still hire minions, and they're still going to hire cult and coven people and black warlocks and witches to come at me and see if somehow they can get my DNA, because they want to study it a little bit more because they're obsessed. And why are they obsessed? We talk about it because we're obsessed. You want to know why they're obsessed? Because I carry the Christ consciousness and they don't. And it doesn't matter what they do in their asking. They're not ready for the answer. Therefore, they'll never get it. And what did we say earlier about any brain chip program? When it's not aligned, it's going to fail. Spend your billions all you want. I'm just telling you, you're going to be facing the wall in another, let's say 8 months. When you get all your receipts back from how much you lost. And then maybe then you'll pay attention that there might be something more about life. There might be something more about this body and all these bones and the chakras I've got going on, and the chakras want to speak, and the chakras want to come and be cleared, and the chakras want to say, hey, who are you today? What is my speech today? I have influence and impact, but what am I going to do with that influence and impact? What am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with it? I tell you every single time you're on here, delighted ones. I'm lifting you up to claim your power, to claim your voice, to claim your intuition, to claim your gifts, to claim your sacredness, to claim your multidimensionality, to claim your starseedness. Claim it. I don't need it. I don't want your credits. I'm here to inspire you to be better leaders of tomorrow. I'm here for you to inspire that no child shall be left behind ever, in any way, anyhow. Their tummies will be fed, their bodies will be protected, and the divine masculines will stand up and they will protect life from here on out. That is the rule of New Earth Star. They will not be protecting their trafficking affiliation businesses and their black web underground businesses that exploit and ruin life. That's done. It's a weed and it's being plucked. Pluck, 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 pluck. And the money's meant to go towards the black web will go towards healing the people that have been abused and used and thrown aside like they are discarded as dirt. And the governments are going to start to create healing programs of all the people that they have abused and used. And there will be no more MK Ultra, and there will be no military projects and agendas that hurt people, intentionally stalking people and attacking them with weapons of technology. Because don't you care about where your soul goes when you're done here, delighted ones? Don't you care where your children go? Don't you care that there is a heaven? Don't you care that where you go in your next lifetime, and if you even have a next life, it does not matter to you? And it's okay if you don't. I'm not going to judge you. I don't care. I'm here to pose these questions because I'm here to awaken you. Why? Why do I want to awaken you? Because I know what it's like to be asleep. I know what it's like to run from everything and have alcoholism and have eating disorders and beat up my body and have self-harm because I'm a starseed and I don't feel like I fit inside my body, and I'll do anything to get outside of it. And starseeds do these things to ourselves. We self-harm and we self-mutilate, and we have eating disorders, and we have alcoholism, and we have drugs, because it helps us escape from the benign aggression and the eagerness to be violent on this planet when they don't care about anything or anybody. Because their chakras are not connected, their spirit's not connected, they're in church and state dogma that says I'm better than you and I'm going to do anything to win, 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 win. How much do I got in my bank now? How much do I got in my bank now? Who am I going to sell next? Who am I going to sacrifice next? Let's go down to the insurance office and see who we can get in our wills and estates. And it doesn't matter if we've defamed the most precious healer on the planet. And it doesn't matter if we stalk and we follow her and we watch her move little wormies off to the soil while you waste time and gas in your car and you're stalking me and watching me at 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm trying to get 5 minutes of sleep because I don't have a bed I can sleep in. And it doesn't matter. Because God came to me, and God says to me at any time I ask, God, please speak through me right now, the Holy Mother and the Holy Father. Please give a message to the collective of your highest and your best that will ease their souls and it will help them move along in their journey of the highest intention. Because it doesn't matter what's been done to me. I am merely an example to know that there is a God. Thank God for God. And the God is the highest version of me in the 13th dimension, and every speck of dust and every speck of vibration, every speck of sound and every speck of color and every speck of crystalline energy that I can muster. Every speck of crystalline muster said to me, when I was getting up from a dark night of the soul one morning, and I really felt like I wanted to die. Why? Because there was gangs and groups wanting me to suicide. When was that? That was the day after my birthday. Nice birthday present, wasn't that? And these cults and covens know what they do around my birthday, don't they? They throw extra suicide spells because they don't want me to feel happy about being born. They want me to feel happy about dying. You egregious, egregious people. And Goddess Isis said to the legions and to the covens that were watching me on the floor, but she doesn't have anybody there, Spirit. There's nobody there to remind her who she is. She forgot who she is. And there were goddesses, and there were gods, and there were deities watching in the cascading heavens as they're watching me crawl on the floor the day after my birthday. because I just wanted to die. And the cults and covens, they party on that. And they feel so successful in making the galactic princess cry. And they make money on that. And the father said, there is a decree and nothing shall happen to my daughter. She shall not be harmed. Because she brings the sweetness of the song back to earth that has been here since her birth. I am the sacred song of life, dear lighted ones, and I'm not sure why you keep wanting to kill me. Because so many of you just see no value in life. I see it everywhere. I see it in the man that stopped by and told me about his wife that had passed. And I had a communion with him, and I said, keep going. She said she still loves you. And with the lady that was thrown out of her house many, many years ago, and she became an alcoholic on the street. And she picks up garbage because she doesn't like to see it on the ground and in the flowers and in the trees and in the bushes. And she spends her days walking, cleaning up the streets because she has no home. And she got beat on and thrown out by her husband. And I bought her a coffee this morning and I said, welcome to your day. I hope you have a good one. Thank you for cleaning up the streets. It doesn't take much to be Christed, dear lighted ones. You must look inside your hearts on why you wish so much harm to your neighbor. I came here as a celestial child to show the higher order, the more beautiful connection and embrace that we can have with all aspects of life. It's a gift from God, and I speak of it. I speak of the gift with the animals that I can read. I speak of the nature that I can read. I speak of the beautiful beings that have spirit in their hearts and their souls and in their ears and in their voice, and they sing spirit and they speak spirit and they hear spirit and they speak of it. And the celestials will just show up because it's our family reminding us that we're all one. And our systems are outdated and the leaders are outdated. And anybody that sits back and plans and plots to see how much more chaos and sabotage they can bring to your life will be removed. You need to play your part by speaking out and saying, Spirit, I can't do this anymore. I don't deserve to be abused. I don't deserve to have my own money kept from me. Because people don't think that I deserve to receive in their own psychosis and in their own mental illness. And these people that think and act and behave this way, Interpol investigations, it absolutely must be researched and investigated at a global level because this is a trend and it is a pattern and they know it. That these people do have mental instabilities. Because to think this way and to wish someone so much harm in such an obsessive and relentless way, it's not normal on any level. And it's very worrying that these people are in the community. It needs to be looked at. Everybody take a deep breath. We're going to call Mother Father. Thank you, Holy Mother Father, for coming through and speaking through me. I love you, Mother Father. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Gaia. Thank you to my ancestors. I love you, ancestors. And just everybody say out loud, say thank you and gratitude to all your celestials, your teams, your higher self for guiding you. Speak to your higher self all throughout your day. I ask my divine higher self to assist me in aligning my chakras. Take a deep breath in.
I ask my higher self to deliver the celestial light and the crystalline light and the violet flame to my chakras. Aishina makata kisiana ayana ayana aya. Ishiana mada kitiana ya. Ishiana kayana na. Just feel the violet flame bathing you and soothing you. Bathing your skin. Anything that needs to be repaired, talk to your teams at nighttime and give yourself a healing. I spend a lot of attention and time with my teams talking about healing. We talk about healing all the time because I know the damages that have been done with all the hexes and the lifetime of curses and the stress on my systems, not having a home and being away from my kids and having my finances strangle-held. It does play a part on the psyche and the systems itself, and they all know this. That's why they do it. That's why it's called systematic abuse, slow dagger. They all know it. They have names for these things, and they know what they do. And so I just pray for those that think that that's a way to move about life. And so just speak with your teams about your healing. So we wanted to have, I do have some. We've been talking about spiritual protocol and guidelines, and that's just to have like a little outline, and it's a little map. It's a little map that you just want to hold to yourself so that you know what your integrity is and your morals are when you're in those moments, because God's going to call on you. God's going to send you people so that you can uplift them and you can show them that your life as a starseed, your life as a higher vibrational being. You've been on the ascension path for quite some time. Many of you that are my clients that have been here for so long. You've been on the path for so long, and you're meant to be those guides, and you're meant to be those way showers. And so it's good to have certain practical tips. I said them yesterday in my video. Always know that you go to the universal laws first and foremost, above all. Connect with your higher self at the beginning and throughout your day, and say, I'm asking you, higher self, to come and speak through me and live through me so that I'm making the highest benevolent actions and speeches for the highest collective. The messages that I bring forward are for the highest and the greatest good. If they're not meant to be heard by the person in front of me, then the teams won't bring them through. So but you need to establish those rules of engagement with your teams. You need to establish it because you want to know thyself. Because you will be tested down the road, like as I've been showing you, I've been tested. You might have groups of 10 or 20 or 30 saying, how do you know this and how do you know that? And they'll actually go into court and they'll defame you and they'll blame you. And then you're going to have to fight for your rights. Say, no, these are my protocols. These are my set standards. This is who I am. This is what I do. And it's your word. Your word is God. And as your word is God, my name is, God is going to assure that everything is made in alignment with that. It's equal measure. That's why nobody that defames you and exploits you and thinks that they have more power over your word, they don't have more power over your word. They're a misogynist that thinks that they're playing God on you, and they're not. You don't have any power over my word. My word is equal to God. Right? Again, it's understanding spiritual intelligence. It's understanding spiritual quantum law. And most of the cults and covens don't. They've been getting away from being corrupt Masons for so very long. They haven't been challenged. So you have to challenge them. No, you're going to stand up. No, that's a systematic abuse. You're withholding my money. You're sabotaging everything about my work when you don't even know me. You don't even know my work. You've never talked to me. You're just doing these arbitrary defamation accusations. Nobody has seen me with my children. There's been no more devoted mother than me. When I've had the money, I'm there and I'm there. If I don't have the money, I can't be there, can I? If I don't even have enough money to eat, where will I be? It's just psychological. It's the worst psychological experience, and Spirit has made sure that everybody that's been involved, their backs are against the wall now. That's what Father said. There is only one choice these people have. And so the Father has their hand on everyone, because this is going to be a global lesson. And there's those that have been my clients forever, what has happened and what has unfolded, there's so many lessons. It's rich with so many different lessons that have been involved, whether it's discrimination, whether it's abandonment, whether it's the divine feminine, divine masculine healings, systematic approaches to higher vibrational systems, learning light systems as opposed to learning other systems. It should be done as early as possible all the time, because you can heal so much in the way, and none of the other minutia ever takes place. Because if your consciousness is high, nothing ever takes place. Right? So we have to, as I said in my video, I said, we have to really take greater concern. We really have to take greater concern
you know? If we're higher in consciousness, all of the problems kind of sort themselves out. So can we do that? Can we agree as a collective that we choose to have higher vibrational light systems so that we're not having to battle ourselves against the church and state ideologies and belief systems that have kept us very low? But why can't we just go straight to the heavens? Why can't we just go straight to the heavenly light of Thoth? You know who we are is Thoth Metatronic light, and Thoth talks about the vibrational experiences of all creation being organized vibrationally. And as we move into higher consciousness with our capacity and aptitude, we get to harmonize and harmonize and harmonize the beautiful aspects of who we are as our soul fragments. And many of you have got coming up, I know you, Scotty, they say that you've got this beautiful soul fragment coming up that you're going to feel like an entirely different person once you integrate that soul fragment. You know, just like when I told you that story about when it was hard. It took me 3 days to integrate that Arcturian soul fragment from the 50s. But I can talk about that. I can talk about that experience because I integrated it. It wasn't fun, but you can't say it's you. Like it's like leaving your comrade at the battlefield and you see your comrades dying and you run away. No, you go back for your fucking comrade. That's you. Right? So that's what the soul integration is like. You don't leave the children. No children's going to be left behind. It's you. It's your child. It's you. And what have we done to the children? We've subjugated them to trafficking. That's the importance we find on these brilliant souls that have so much to offer humanity and offer their own soul's destiny. They have a destiny. Every child has a destiny. Nobody should be touching these children. Nobody should be touching these children. And everybody that is listening, share our videos strong and wide. Take your hands off the children. They're divine heavenly seed. Take your hands off of them. And go and heal your wounds. To every leader, to every person that thinks they are elite, you're not elite. You will never be ranked. And I will see you in the highest courts of law if you choose to continue down this path. Because I am that I am. This is my garden, and the children will not be touched. And if you do, there are billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of legions and unseen and energies and angelics that will make it their place to know your life inside and out. And day by day and bit by bit, the water will be turned off, the well will be turned off, the light will be turned off, and your light will be that so. Because you don't have a right to destroy a child's destiny because of your wounding and egregious selfishness. And I will never stand down from that statement. I shinamaka, eteke namaka a, eteke shinamaka a. I initiate all children on this planet as sacred souls this day, and their hearts and souls and spirits will be lifted. They are sacred, and they are divine. Their voices matter and their spirits matter. Get your hands off them. Divine masculines, it is your job and your duty, as well as all beings on this planet, to look after life and protect life, and to value it and honor it. Who are you? We ask that you please heal yourselves. You should never be using your body parts on a child, ever. Please go and heal. That is my word. And may it ring through to all dimensions and all fabrics of this dimension, and all realms, and plants and soils, and air and water, and forests and trees and houses. May my voice ring through all. The children are sacred, leave them alone. And you will experience karma if you choose to continue, when you could choose to get healed. Seek healing, dear lighted ones. You have a higher self, and you have teams that are willing and supportive of you every moment. Why won't you heal? You have a support system around you at all times. Will you get connected? Will you challenge yourself to be your own star version of you? Because you had follies in your childhood. Perhaps you face them now. Perhaps you be the brave person that you can be and face your follies. It's nobody's fault. You're here to transcend them. That's how powerful you are. So change the story. Get on stage and change the story. Stop being fake and superficial. Get to the core of who you are. What's your story? Speak of it. Never hide it. Speak of your story. Show that that is a role model for others. Yes, my path hasn't been easy, but God has made it 10 times because God is taking me places that nobody has done what I have done. And all the days that I fall asleep and I get a few hours here and I get a few hours there and I move about my life as best I can because Spirit said things are coming. We're going to move you here. We're going to move you there. Things are coming. And I say, fine, that's fine. Whatever you want, Spirit, I'm here. And Spirit said, aren't you excited? We're doing things that nobody's ever done before. We're going places nobody's ever done before. Christopher Columbus, my dear. Nobody's ever done what you have done. Nobody has ever come this far in ascension. In the integration that I have done, in the impalements and the attacks that I have gone through, and I've done it without any divine masculine next to me. No support system except for a few clients and Mother, Father, God. And that was purposeful. For those that need those proof and validations, you'll have it in your own way, because that wasn't my intention. My intention was merely to survive and have my voice heard because it's egregious. What the fuck is happening? I work 24/7 in devotion for all creation, and I don't have a penny to my name. Where's my money going, Calgary cult? Why's my signature and my name being thrown around in places I've never been before? And you don't have any rights, and my name ranks out yours in the spiritual realm and in all realms. And there are beings and there are deities right now that are pulling down every single person that's ever been touching my name and my work and my papers and my books and my monies. And everything's being reworked. Because I deserve to receive. And anybody saying I don't, you're going to be sat down first. And you're not getting up. Because again, I ain't your problem. Your wounds are. And the scales aren't balanced and you're not going through my gates. And that's my ranking. Church and state, you're going to offer high vibrational light wisdom healings, and you're going to start integrating, you're going to start out the course. And if you don't, that's then. You're all starting to feel the karma. It ain't going to stop. Because 5D light is 5D light, and it's not a light worker's tailing. It's not nobody doing anything to you. It's the light saying that what you're doing isn't going to match. Are you going to level up? Are you going to level up to the light? You're going to level up to the light. You're going to level up to light. And ain't nobody doing nothing to you. It's you sitting in darkness and the light is just showing it to you. The light's reflecting. Okay, well, this is where you're sitting. Are you still going to do that? Are you still going to do it? It's a holographic reality, you know. Do you know what that means? Everything you do is coming back to you. What are you thinking you're going through? You think somebody's doing spell work on you? Nobody's doing spell work on you. It's your own spell work thrown back at you, dummy. It's a holographic reality. Quantum basics. The light is here and you're not. Are you going to level up? We've been telling you that. Epstein Earth or not. New Earth star or not. You choose. Creation ain't going to stop ascension because you don't want to believe there's a God or there is ascension. They don't believe. They don't care. They don't care. If you don't like what I say and you don't like my speech, move off. It's your free will to be here. I'm not asking you to come on my channel and throw your hate or your questions or your abbreviations or you wanted to fight and force me on your God and your Bible and your this and your that. So please hold your comments for your own peanut gallery. It's not mine. I am the Messiah, I am the messenger, and I will speech as I will speech. And if you choose not to like it or enjoy it, then get off my channel. It is free will. And you might want to go talk to YouTube. Go talk to YouTube. Go talk to YouTube, and you might want to be a part of those 3 people that are paying to silence me. Why don't you stop paying YouTube and have them silence me? God's going to lift me no matter what. Why? Because none of you run Earth. None of you have a dictation on Earth. None of you have any right to say that my light wisdoms cannot be felt and touched and heard and felt by anybody across this planet and across the multiverse. There are 1,700 beings right now across this multiverse galactic celestial skies right now watching and seeing and sitting in this auditorium, celestial auditorium that we meet in. The celestial light. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Commander Ashtar. Thank you, Holy Spirit. 1,700. Over 1,700. Now there's more filing in. Because humanity needs to hear some things sometimes. And it's not comfortable hearing the truth sometimes. And you get your noses out of joint because all you've been doing is hurting people and bullying people and you've been getting away from it because nobody wants to stand up to you. Well, guess what? I'm going to stand up to you. And I'm going to do it again and again and again and again. And I'll have my dark nights of the soul, and I'll get myself up off the floor, and I'll be okay with the little scars, and I'll be okay with whatever is whatever. Because God's going to make me over and over again, and God's given me eternal life, and God's going to give me a new body, and God's going to give me new cells, and God's going to give me a new brain. Why? Because that's eternal life, and that's what God's promise to me. Because I stand here and I face the demons, and I say, your hate says nothing about me, it says everything about you. I get the right to be who I am, and I'm going to choose who the fuck I want to be. You don't have any right to say who I'm going to be or where I'm going to go or what I'm going to do or say. So sit down, Satan. If you want to take a class, you can, because you work for me now. That is higher order. And who pulls that string? Who pulls the string of Satan, dear lighted ones? Who pulls the string of Lucifer? Source. See, that's where your beliefs told you went wrong. Your beliefs are leaving you halfway out. Your beliefs are leaving you halfway confused because you're not getting the full picture. You don't get it. And some of us are here and trained and practiced to get it. And I'm going to stand and I'm going to speak as I speak. It's my channel. We have a few minutes left. I'd like to pay homage to the celestials and to the ancestors that live us and breathe us every day. Because the ancestors couldn't take it as far as we are taking it right now. And every day is a gift. Your body is a gift. Your breath is a gift. The blood and bones that you have within you is a gift. So please, 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 dear lighted ones, your DNA is not junk. It never was, and neither are you. The children rely on you to be better leaders and caretakers of this earth and ambassadors of this earth and ambassadors of nature and beautiful things. There is no reason for anybody on this planet to use and harvest, to do magic and sacrificing and do negative dark magic work on anybody to receive anything. And if you think that that is true, you could alter course and find a better way for yourself and higher karma return. Or you can keep going down the dark path that you are because you want to take, sneak, and rape and steal anything for you to have, anything for you to win. And you can keep on that path and draw it out on the infinity and see where that takes you. You will never ever gain, you will only lose, and you will never be ranked, and you will find yourself in negative karma. Because they are against spiritual laws, you don't have any right to take anything from anybody to make yourself win. And is that a win? When you pass over to the other side and you are faced with all of your deeds, and you go from a physical body and you go back to spirit, you will see all of your deeds have been nothing for naught. You cannot take your money with you. Your money means nothing in the story of your legacy, unless you're doing and giving back to humanity for the greater good, so that you see beyond your ego, you see beyond your little childhood woundings, and you actually sit and get yourself healed, would pay far better of attention and a story for you than any other story. Because that means that you're a hero of your own story, and you're not going to sit down, you're not going to be bullied, and you're going to stand up for what is right. Because if you can, you will. That's being noble. And God will meet you equal measure. But nobody has told you that there is this much faith and there is this much knowing and joy and faith and hope in God. Because there is. Because all you've seen is church and state, and what have they shown you? They've shown you betrayal after betrayal, injustice after injustice, and one divine feminine fighting for her rights for how many years, and I haven't seen a penny, I haven't seen one apology, and they still stalk me. That's what the people see from their leaders. And church and state must ask itself in this final minute of my sermon, and these are our leaders. And when it comes out to see who has been paying YouTube to silence me, you will ask yourself once again, these are our leaders. How may we alter course? And how may we choose unity, light, peace, and harmony? That is an option. How about you heal? Thank you, dear lighted ones. If anybody would like an ascension session, healing session, activation session, we're going to talk a little bit more about protocols and first contact. So when your celestial and your spiritual gifts are opening up, it's good to have a set guideline. So go and read. I noticed that when I was listening to my video yesterday, I was making notes and I was remembering things that I didn't remember the first time I heard it. So it's always good to watch the videos over and over and over again, because they do remind you of certain things, especially if you're a practitioner, if you're learning to, you want to branch out with your spiritual gifts. I implore and I empower all of you. Many of you have been my clients for many, many years, and many of you have many, many gifts, Scotty. I'm not going to stop talking to you about you getting out there and getting amongst the people. The people need to hear your perspective, and the people need to hear your story. And you're all beautiful, wonderful storybook tellers and ambassadors. I have 3 books that are about ascension and consciousness, and it is on Barnes & Noble and Amazon, so please go and order our books. Anybody that would like an ascension session, collaboration session, any communications for me with at all, just go through my PayPal. It's on every one of my videos. And on our YouTube channel, we post the aligned readers that are helping share my story, because my channel has been shadow banned. So I appreciate all of the aligned readers. Thank you so much. And thank you to those that have been so very generous in giving me donations. I love you, and Archangel Michael is looking out specifically for you and giving you healings every day. So I'm so very grateful. I'm so grateful. Those that are on the right side of justice, those of you that have chosen to come forward and to speak, whether it's Interpol investigations and those that have been working with the governments to try and make things right. As we've said yesterday, people are asking, how do I make things right? How do I do, because we're now waking up. And obviously we said the highest form of truth, the highest form of making things right is truth, because when you speak in truth, you're clearing up the story that you have been lying about, that you've been holding about. So truth has to be first and foremost, and speak truth about everything that has been going on. Take it to your authorities. And let the dust settle, and God and the spirit angels are working with all of the authorities to ensure that the highest levels of justice will be had, so there will be no more corruption from here on out. So that's why it is good, if you have a pure intention to make things right for your karma, for your lineage, for your children, for the karma that your children will be receiving because of your deeds. You want to be a better role model, so go to the authorities and speak your story of 100% truth. And it's not to get lesser time on a sentence. And the post I wrote last night, Source was channeling. There was a Source channel last night, because the guilty verdicts were now trying to communicate with me telepathically. So Source was giving me a channel, and so read that channel that I put on my YouTube page last night. It says Source channel, and it was about people asking about what will their sentences and how will their outcome be. So you're not going to get away from the consequences. You have to serve your consequences. If you go forward in the highest truth, then you can only ask for the highest outcome, because you've gone in with the highest intention. If your intention is to just go willy-nilly to try and scapegoat somebody else and try and screw other people over, you're not going to get the highest outcome. You have to do what you do for the highest outcome, for the greater good. You have to have a pure intention, pure intention, because you feel bad about what you put somebody through. The last 8 years, I have cried every day. It's not normal. It's not normal for me to have to transmute that much hate and transmute that much anger and hate that people have just because I am who I am. I'm going to keep being who I am, so better get used to it. I'm not going to stop being me. I'm not going to stop being a starseed. I'm going to come forward loud and strong and clear, because I'm a role model for all starseeds. We're changing this earth, and we're changing all creation. I'm not going to stop changing. I'm not going to stop bringing light. I will not sit down. I am that I am, and I want everyone to feel blessed and joyful about who they are. Stand up, people. Be proud about who you are. Heal your stories and make them part of your journey. Call it in. And anybody that wants to try and hurt you and take you out and sabotage your life and sabotage your work and defame you and put false claims in courts and laws and do very egregious criminal acts on you, cut them off and move away quickly, and have Source Creator put a block and a veil so they cannot touch you vibrationally or spiritually, and let the karma unfold. And they will never eat at your table. People that do spell work and sex magic on you and binding work on you, they will never eat at your table, and state it so and leave. And let Source sort it out. You have that right. You have a birthright to be treated with love and respect. And don't let anybody tell you any different. Divine Feminine, stand up. Divine Masculines, start protecting life from here on out. That's why you're here. You're here to will a better planet, Divine Masculines. Please get healed. Stand up and be the men that you are chosen to be. You are leaders. And with that, dear lighted ones, Commander Ashtar says, it's been a great joy serving all of you. Please look within your hearts. Unity and oneness just simply is. You don't have to force it. No magic required. It just is. Seek love within it and is all things. Thank you, dear lighted ones. We'd like to say goodbye. Any donations or sessions, please book it. Thank you. We love you. Bye. Enjoy your weekend. Go out and spend some time with Gaia. Hi, Scotty. I love you, Scotty. Go spend some time with Gaia. Share our videos. Bye.